Indonesia's military chief on Sunday confirmed that all crew on board the sunken Navy submarine have died. Hari Jajanto told a news conference that, based on the evidence that has been found, the submarine has sunk and none of the 53 crew members on board have survived. Navy Chief of Staff Yudo Margono added that the 44-year-old submarine was found broken into 3 parts: the hull, the stern, and the main parts, and that cracks were found on the main part of the vessel.
Jadi bukan human error.
He also ruled out human error as the cause of the accident. Rescuers also found objects including a life vest that they believe belonged to those on board the vessel, which lost contact on Wednesday as it prepared to conduct a torpedo drill.
Night after night, these are the scenes that may come to define Jerusalem's Ramadan of 2021. Since the first night of the holy month, Palestinians have been protesting against the closure of the steps outside Damascus Gate, where they would usually gather after prayers.
They don't allow the people to sit on the steps to drink something, to do. They want to change everything. And we don't forget, it's a capital of Palestine, and it's still under occupation.
There is now a real danger of further escalation, with the added element of far-right Jewish groups seeking to confront the Palestinians. On Thursday, supporters of one such group marched to Damascus Gate, chanting "Death to Arabs." The two groups facing off for several hours, with more than 125 people injured, mostly Palestinians, in violence with security forces.
Soldiers exchanged gunfire in the streets of Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, as crowds of people gathered. The country is split between those supporting President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed's extension for another term and those opposed to it. Meanwhile, former President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud said on Sunday that soldiers attacked his residence and that the current president was responsible. President Mohamed, known locally as Farmajo, signed a law in mid-April extending his mandate for 2 years. That stoked opposition inside Somalia and put him on a collision course with Western donors.
Police in France have arrested a 5th person as part of an anti-terrorism investigation intended to find any motives and accomplices behind the fatal stabbing of a police official. Speaking to journalists, counter-terrorism prosecutor Jean-François Ricard said police are questioning a cousin of the suspect. The suspect is known to have had appointments with a psychiatrist in Rambouillet in February, but according to Ricard, his condition didn't require hospitalization or treatment. After the psychiatric consultations, the suspect spent just over 2 weeks in Tunisia. He had no criminal record and there's no previous evidence of radicalization. But there is evidence the man consulted videos of religious songs glorifying jihad immediately before carrying out his act.
Arab media reported on Sunday morning that the Yemeni armed forces had launched a drone operation against the Saudi coalition. A suicide drone was fired by Yemeni forces in southern Saudi Arabia, Sky News reported, citing a spokesman for the Saudi coalition. He noted that the operation was in response to airstrikes by the Saudi coalition and the continuation of the siege of Yemen. Yemen's Air Force has stepped up the retaliatory attacks on Saudi Arabia in recent months, saying the strikes will continue as long as Riyadh carries on with its airstrikes and blockade. The Saudi-led coalition has been bombing Yemen for nearly 7 years, imposing a siege, starvation, and lack of medical supplies on the Yemeni people, and continuing to kill women and children.
Well, it's being hailed as a potential game changer in the fight against one of the world's deadliest diseases. A promising new vaccine against malaria has proven 77% effective in trials. That's the first time ever malarial vaccine has topped the World Health Organization's goal of a jab that's at least 75% effective. The shot was developed by the team behind the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine and tested on 450 infants in Burkina Faso. The scientists will now move to a so-called phase 3 trial involving nearly 5,000 children across 4 African countries.
Show us the money. This is the message of Turkish citizens to their president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. They want to know where their government spent $128 billion from its forex reserves. $128 billion. Opposition parties say the sum was sold at foreign exchange markets to keep the sinking Turkish currency stable. Erdogan denies the charge. He says those levelling it should be charged with treason. But it's not helping his cause. Hundreds of posters and billboards have emerged in Istanbul, and they all read the same thing. Where are the $128 billion?
An Indian official in the US has confirmed that US has dispatched COVID supplies. More than 300 oxygen concentrators that have been dispatched from John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York on Sunday morning, US time, and Air India's A102 is transporting 5 tons of oxygen concentrators as cargo and is scheduled to land in Delhi by noon today.
As the vaccine rolls out, 138 million Americans have gotten at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. New CDC data shows 8% of people have missed their second shot of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines. A New York Times analysis says that amounts to about 5 million people, though some may have been missed in the data by getting a second shot at a different location than the first.
A lot of people got scared, especially after they put a pause on the Johnson & Johnson, and they said, well, maybe vaccines are not safe, when in reality, the vaccines are very, very safe.
The reasons why people skip their second dose vary. Some face scheduling issues, with a number of vaccine providers canceling second dose appointments because they ran out of supply. Others worry about side effects or think the first shot is effective enough.